taking on his old buddy Zion and the Pelicans. Ja and the Grizzlies down by 19 at the half, but they're coming back.
I mean, just appointment TV, the spin, the finish over the top, shows you why he's one of the most electrifying players in the league.
Speaking of electrifying, Zion only had 13. Oh, but he's got that one.
You think between Zion and Brandon Ingram that this team was loaded? They had a great run in the first half before Ja took over in the second.
That's exactly what he did. Let's go to the fourth quarter. We're tied, and Ja unties it.
I mean, look, this is just against one of the best defenders in the game of basketball on the ball, and Herb Jones doing whatever he wants whenever he wants.
Yeah, it was still tied when Ja goes to the bucket here. So now Memphis has a 2-point lead, but stay with the play. You mentioned Herb Jones. He's going to tie it again. So here we go. Here's your ball game. 7 seconds to play. All tied up in New Orleans. First game back for Ja Morant. Brian Anderson, TNT, take it.
And the timer expires. Count the basket. And Ja Morant wins it for the Grizzlies.
What a spectacular finish. Ja Morant, in his first game back, 34 points and a buzzer beater to win it on the road. He would add 8 assists and 6 rebounds. I'll mention again, they were down 19 at the half, and back they came. JWill, you were up watching last night. What is your number one reaction to what Ja Morant did?
That even after missing 25 games, there's still a legitimate chance for him to be the face of the NBA. And I'm talking about with the likes of LeBron James, Steph Curry, Giannis, JWill Embiid, Luka. He is appointment TV. Greeny, I watch so much basketball. Every single possession, even on his missed highlights, I challenge you, go watch his missed shots. His missed shots are highlights within itself. There's a reason why he's one of the most entertaining players in the history of the game of basketball.
Yeah, you and I talked about it yesterday, that we are a forgiving public. Here's the game-winning shot here from Ja Morant.
And we're not even going to talk about this defensively. First off, like, they didn't even send a double team at him, okay? The last 3 possessions, he went into ISO. He got a chance to do it. And I don't know if they're just challenging his conditioning or whatever, but he wasn't shooting jump shots. He's attacking the rim, and he finishes at the rim in spectacular manner.
Well, that's what he does, right? He goes to the basket, and he as well as any player his size, maybe in the history of the game. But let's go to the bigger picture here, because, look, clearly this is a controversial topic on so many levels. The lengthy suspension, he comes back. Yeah. There are a lot of people who are going to maintain any number of different feelings about the way it has been handled and the way he has handled it all. What you and I discussed on the radio yesterday was, for those of us, myself included, who feel that the suspension was warranted and feel that this was handled appropriately, that there is every opportunity for him to grow and learn from this. He is such a young man still, that if he shows legitimate contrition and understanding of the issue here, that there is still plenty of chance for him being as spectacular as any player the league has seen in a long time to become one of the faces of the sport.
And Greeny, you talk about contrition. How about the fact, and let's just reward this for a second, because think about how difficult this is, and a lot of people will put their own foot in their mouth. For 25 games, you didn't hear anything from Ja Morant. He kept his head down. You heard in the post-press conference, I worked hard. I was ready for this moment. I think just the way he's treating it, the level of respect. And we remember winners. All right, there's 7.5 games out of the 10th spot right now. That whole narrative a couple years ago that they're a better team without Ja Morant, just you can lose me with all that. He is one of the best players in the league. He is top 10, and he still has a legit chance to be that guy for the entire NBA if he continues to play at this level.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. I agree with you. There was no one more exciting to watch, which is why so many of us were so disappointed with the direction that this all started to take. But huge first step back, right? A very good, you said it right, the first month and a half or whatever it's been here, he's kept his head down, done his work. Now we'll see how it goes from here.
And look, this has a chance to be a great redemption story. I think everybody in the game of basketball wants Ja Morant to win, to talk to you about what he's learned, the level of maturity it takes with becoming a star, learning how to trust others around you with security and things of those details that kind of take yourself out of harm's way. If he gets that, Greeny, I think you have a chance to look at the 2023 version of Allen Iverson. Like an upgraded version of that. Yeah. AI was one of the most electrifying and one players the game of basketball has ever seen. He, to me, feels like the next iteration of that for the culture.
Totally agree. I mean, the similarities there in their games are obvious, and there's never been any question. Another unbelievable finish in the NBA, and here it comes. Steph Curry and the Warriors taking on the Celtics. What a game this was, JWill. Pick it up in the fourth quarter. Steph was magical.
Well, Steph has to be heroic. No Draymond Green on this team, and he just did it down the stretch by himself.
Look at him knocking down threes left and right. This is going to take it to the final seconds here. Jason Tatum, this is for the three and the win at the buzzer, and it's no good. And so we're going to overtime between these two teams who matched up in the finals 2 years ago. 45 seconds left in the OT. Warriors up by a deuce, and here's Steph again.
Steph right off a dribble handoff, finds a way. What a power dribble. Also in this game, Klay Thompson had 24 points, but it came down to what Steph could do off a pass from CP3 down the stretch.
Absolutely. Here's Al Horford knocking down a three to make this a 1-point game, but here's that bucket. Warriors down by one. Steph no good, but here's that rebound and the dagger.
And look at the relocation. Look at Steph in the corner. His hands are ready the entire time. CP3 finds him. Splash. Game over.
Steph Curry, 33
Night.
points, 6 of 11 from three. And the Warriors win it in overtime. A nice win there after all that they've gone through with all of the Draymond Green stuff and everything else and trying to figure out. And the one thing you cannot overlook as the Warriors climb within a game of 500, Steph Curry is still, at his age and with everything he's accomplished, he is playing at an MVP caliber level.
Well, first off, how do you lose 30? Like down the stretch when CP3 gets the ball in overtime, I know Derek White had a great offensive game, but you can't lose 30. He's the one guy that you have to stay attached to. But Greeny, talk about the level of his greatness. I said it when they won a championship 2 years ago, that he is top 10 greatest of all time right now. Now, he has not cracked the top 5 for me, but he is top 10 right now.
What were you saying, Shaq? I didn't stay up late enough to see
he
it.
is in the conversation for greatest of all time. And for me, he is not in that conversation. That does not diminish his greatness. He's top 10. The only 3 guys in that conversation, or maybe if you want to say 4 before we start to reach, are LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you want to put Kobe in that conversation, okay, because they've affected the game in a variety of different ways, and they were all great defensive players.
I think that longevity is one of the pieces of this conversation, and it is going to be, I think, the #1 item on LeBron James' resume.
Agreed.
When he's all said and done. No one in history has played at the level he's playing right now at the age he's playing. And I think the point needs to be underlined again. This guy's not slowing down.
No.
I'm not sure what his team can do around him, but he is not slowing down.
Well, he's playing at an MVP level. And by the way, with no Draymond Green on the court, with Andrew Wiggins not playing his best basketball, you saw Klay Thompson have 24 last night. But he needs to be at an MVP level to keep his team in the hunt for a play-in spot.
Well, let me run through a couple other things from the NBA last night. We showed you Ja Morant with the buzzer beater that gave the Grizzlies a thrilling win last night in his first game back. Ja Morant looks like he is in mid-season form.
I am rooting for Ja Morant, the person, just as much as I'm rooting for Ja Morant, the player. He is a superstar in this league. I said it before, it's a chance to be the face of the NBA, and it's how he's handling things off the court that will ultimately determine his success on the court.
Meanwhile, last night, Giannis, a triple-double. Damian Lillard scored 40. Are the Bucks the best team in the Eastern Conference?
It's between the Bucks and the Boston Celtics. I would say that down the stretch, I think the Celtics have more weapons if Kristaps Porzingis can come back and play at a high level, but I worry about him being injury prone.
One more. KD had 40, but the Suns lost to the Trailblazers. Is this
second
Phoenix
worst team in the Western Conference?
Is it not going to work? Is it not going to happen?
It makes you wonder with the 2 teams that KD has been on, with James Harden and Kyrie Irving, and now with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Will they be healthy when it matters the most? And Bradley Beal out for 2 weeks with that sprained ankle. It seems like a theme has been following KD for the last 2 teams.
He just can't quite get it right.
He's been right there, but nobody else has been healthy.
He's playing great, but this big 3 or whatever you want to call them, they don't look ready for prime time. Meanwhile, you will see Steph and the Warriors taking on the Wizards on Friday night. Coverage starts 10 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app as we head into a huge sports weekend.